18 seconds ago, a piece of paper that fell from Cash Patel's pocket changed America's political history. On that paper were 12 names written by hand, each with "Protect" written in red ink next to them. And at the top in capital letters, "White House order, don't touch any of them." When Senator Elizabeth Warren took that note and read it aloud, Cash Patel's face turned white in 4 seconds. His hands began uncontrollable trembling. And in the footage you're watching right now, you'll see second by second how the FBI director's career collapsed. This video will expose how America's most powerful intelligence agency operates under political pressure. If you're new to this channel, subscribe immediately and turn on notifications. Because every second you're about to watch shows the moments of a historic scandal being revealed. Senate Intelligence Committee, Room 216, exactly 2:23 p.m. Cash Patel sits at the witness table with his usual cool expression. 4 lawyers beside him, pre-prepared answers in front of him, 22 years of FBI experience behind him. But none of this will save him from the disaster he'll face in 7 minutes. The first hour passed with standard procedure. Republican senators asked praising questions, terrorism operations, fighting drug cartels, cybersecurity successes. Patel answered every question routinely, looking at his notes, drinking water, seeming almost bored. He was completely in control. Democratic senators came with tough questions. The sudden transfer of 2,400 agents within the FBI, the firing of 31 senior officials, the cancellation of security clearances for personnel who criticized the Trump administration. Patel deflected these with standard responses to operational efficiency, ongoing investigations, national security protocols. At 2:19 p.m., Warren signaled to take the floor. The room's energy changed instantly, because everyone knew that Warren doesn't ask questions unless she already has the answers. Former federal prosecutor, Harvard law professor, the woman who never opens an investigation, she can't bring down the system. A closed file sat on her desk. Red classification stamps were clearly visible. Patel saw it. His eyes shifted to the file for a second, then returned to Warren's face. Trained observers caught that micro-expression of concern on Patel's face. "Director Patel," Warren began, her voice calm but determined. "Let's talk about the FBI's document security protocols." Patel's left hand adjusted his tie, a classic stress indicator. "Of course, Senator, the FBI implements the strictest document protection protocols in the federal government." "Excellent," Warren said. In that single word, everyone in the room understood that Patel had walked into the trap. "So you have systems in place to prevent classified documents from reaching unauthorized persons?" Patel was still confident. "Absolutely. Multiple backups, strict access controls, comprehensive audit records." "Good. So if a classified document went missing, you could immediately find out who took it from where?" "Yes. Every operation requires digital identity verification." Warren opened her file with a theatrical gesture. FBI Security Report, SG 25-8847, dated November 12, 2025. "Are you aware of this document?" For the first time, real concern appeared on Patel's face. His eyebrows furrowed, his mouth opened and closed. "Senator, I cannot comment on specific documents without seeing them. Let me refresh your memory." Warren held up the document. FBI letterhead and classification markings were visible. "This is a memo sent to you from FBI Security Chief Patricia Williams. Subject: critical security breach. Urgent intervention required." The room fell silent. Warren began reading. "Director Patel, I am reporting an unprecedented security breach. On November 10th, 47 classified documents went missing from the FBI director's safe. These documents contain active investigations, witness protection lists, a special protection list of 12 individuals. Last access was November 9th at 11:34 p.m. with your personal security code." The impact was immediate. Patel's face went from normal skin color to pale white in 4 seconds. His hands began visibly trembling, a shake that started small but became increasingly pronounced. One of his lawyers leaned in to give urgent advice, but Patel seemed unable to process anything. "Director Patel," Warren continued, Would you explain why 47 classified documents were taken from the safe at midnight using your code? Patel's mouth opened, but no sound came out. His left hand reached for his water glass, and when he lifted it, the trembling was so severe that water spilled over the rim, pouring onto the witness table. Every camera caught this. Senator, Patel finally managed to speak, his voice barely recognizable. I don't personally know every technical system operation. I need to examine the specific conditions. You don't have personal knowledge? Warren's voice carried genuine incredulity. This memo clearly states that the deletion was performed using your authorization code from your office at 11:34 p.m. Was someone else in your office at 11:34 p.m. using your credentials? Patel looked desperately at his lawyers. Senator, there could be technical explanations for how authorization codes are used in automated processes. Let me simplify this. Warren sharply pulled out a second document. FBI Headquarters Security Entry Logs, November 9, 2025. According to this official record, you entered FBI headquarters at 10:47 p.m. on November 9th, accessed the director's office floor at 10:53 p.m., remained in the building with no one else on the 7th floor until 4:12 a.m. The document deletion occurred at 11:34 p.m. You were the one who deleted those 47 documents. The trap was completely closed and inescapable. Patel sat frozen, his face visibly sweating, his hands trembling so violently he had to clasp them together on the table. Senator, I may have been working late that night, but specific technical operations are performed by specialist personnel. Warren's voice was filled with controlled anger. Director, let me read you one more thing. Quote, this deletion used emergency override protocols, bypassed all standard protection measures. The deleted data is permanently irretrievable. This operation required manually disabling 6 separate backup systems and giving explicit confirmation at 3 separate verification points. This was not automatic. This was deliberate. Manual deletion requiring active human intervention at multiple stages. Warren leaned forward. Director Patel, this doesn't sound like a routine operation. This sounds like someone deliberately destroying classified documents in the middle of the night while alone in the FBI building. At exactly 2:37 p.m., 18 minutes into Warren's questioning, Cash Patel completely lost his temper. Senator, this is outrageous. Patel's voice cracked with panic and desperate anger. You're taking internal communications completely out of context and weaponizing routine procedures to create a false narrative. Warren cut him off sharply. Let me give you context. Let me tell you what those 47 documents were. She pulled out a third document. Counter-terrorism file, CT 2024-8847. Investigation into undisclosed foreign contacts by presidential transition team members, file CT 2024-9813. Intercepted communications between Russian intelligence operatives and U.S. political consultants. File CT 2024-8847. Financial intelligence reports on unexplained transfers from foreign entities to domestic political organizations during the transition period. With each file number, Patel seemed to shrink further. And here's the most interesting part, Warren continued, holding up a fourth document. A witness protection authorization form you personally signed on November 1, 2025, granting emergency classified witness status and FBI security detail to Michael Flynn. The name exploded like a bomb. Michael Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor, convicted of lying to the FBI about Russian contacts, pardoned by Trump. Director Patel, Warren said, Michael Flynn's name appears 47 times in the counter-terrorism files you deleted. You gave him FBI witness protection, then 2 days later deleted all files containing his name. Warren paused for effect. So I'm asking you directly, did you delete classified counter-terrorism data to protect Michael Flynn and other individuals connected to foreign influence operations? Patel tried to stand. His chair scraped loudly, his face contorted with rage and panic. I will not sit here and allow you to impugn my integrity with these baseless conspiracy theories. Sit down, Director, Chairman Warner's voice thundered. Patel sat immediately. his hands visibly shaking. Warren wasn't finished. Let me tell you what happened. During the presidential transition, the FBI's Counterterrorism Division was conducting legitimate investigations into foreign influence operations. These investigations documented concerning patterns of communication with foreign intelligence services. When you became FBI director, you were instructed to make these investigations disappear. You systematically destroyed evidence to protect powerful people. The chamber erupted. Warren pulled out one final document. Director Patel, I'm reading an email sent by FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate on October 28, 2025, 5 days before the deletion. Cash, I must strongly advise against any action that would compromise ongoing counterterrorism investigations. The CT Division has developed substantial evidence of FARA violations and potential espionage activities. Any interference would constitute obstruction. I am formally documenting my opposition to any proposed data modifications. Paul Abate, Deputy Director. Warren looked directly at Patel with icy fury. Your own Deputy Director warned you that deleting these files would constitute obstruction. You did it anyway. This isn't data management, Director. This is obstruction of justice. Patel sat motionless, unable to respond. I move that all documents be entered into the congressional record, Warren said. And I formally request that the Department of Justice open an immediate investigation into obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, and violations of federal records preservation laws. Within minutes, video clips of Patel's breakdown went viral. His trembling hands, his drained face, his inability to give consistent answers. News networks interrupted programming. FBI director caught deleting counterterrorism files. Legal experts called it the most damning congressional testimony in FBI history. Within hours, FBI whistleblowers came forward. The DOJ Inspector General announced a criminal investigation. Republican senators called for Patel's resignation, and the White House refused to comment, a telling silence that Washington recognized as preparation to cut loose a liability. Sometimes accountability just requires a prosecutor with a manila folder, the patience to build an inescapable trap, and the courage to ask simple questions that have no answers. Elizabeth Warren had asked those questions. Cash Patel had no answers. In 18 seconds, the most brazen counterterrorism investigation obstruction case in FBI history was exposed. Destroyed not by partisan politics, but by documented actions and his inability to explain why he was sitting alone in the FBI building at 11:34 p.m.